introduce yourself and what is your role for GoW Ascension?
My name is Marc Simon and I'm the lead game designer for GoW Ascension.
What can Kratos expect in GoW Ascension?
So in GoW Ascension, the entire story is based around Kratos trying to break his bond with Ares. And breaking his bond with Ares is no small feat. He's going to have to deal with the Furies, and the Furies are essentially the agents of Kratos. They're these primordial beasts, or more than gods actually, that have these incredible abilities. It's going to make his life miserable throughout this experience. So them as a nemesis will be a very tough challenge for Kratos to overcome in this game.
Why does the fourth path just go back to the beginning?
Yeah, why did we tell this story? The reason why we told this story is that we were able to go back to a time where it was before Ghost of Sparta, before God of War 1, and we're able to kind of get into Kratos in terms of understanding, is he even compassionate? And I think this game you'll see that he is compassionate. And for the players to understand or to empathize with him why he is the way that he is. And so you have to go back to the beginning. You have to understand the stuff that he's gone through. You have to see that this path, this particular adventure, this journey that he goes through here has a big influence in shaping who he was at the beginning of the God of War trilogy. So it's very important that the players play that.
Why do you decide multiplayer modus for GoW Ascension?
Well, I think multiplayer was one of those things where we start every new project and we kind of prototype, right? We start trying new things that we're going to do. Guys are doing crazy things with Titan tech, other guys are doing things with the combat system, other guys are building different levels and unique puzzles around new mechanics maybe that they can build. And multiplayer was one of those tests. It was one of those things where somebody had Kratos fighting another Kratos, both had chain blades, totally the wrong size arena, both guys looked the same, hitting each other, and it was fun. So we were like, wait a second, you know, it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. Sometimes fun's good enough. So we looked at it and we're like, this is really fun, and let's expand it. Let's keep working on it. Let's change the weapons that we're using. Let's make our guys look different. Let's make the arena space work better. Let's add some more things for you to do in here, bring in some epic set pieces. And, you know, after 3 years, we came up with a pretty interesting multiplayer that I think is unlike anything out there.
Has the integration of the multiplayer any impact on the single player?
Well, if it has any impact, it's a positive impact. So what you have is we don't have our multiplayer team like somewhere else. It's not like we have a Montreal team and a Sony Santa Monica team, and both of them are working on different sections of the game. We have our multiplayer designers sitting right next to our single player designers. And the good thing is that means they're playing each other's work. They're working with each other on the same exact content. So we have single-player guys playing multiplayer content and giving feedback, and vice versa. So if anything, you have crossover, which is really, really good, actually. So if you take the controller and you look at the control scheme for single-player and you look at the control scheme for multiplayer, it's pretty much the same. And that's good, so that if you play single-player, you get really good at the actions that you do. You go to multiplayer, it's the same button commands, everything feels relatively the same, even though the balancing and the weapons and what they do and your abilities and that sort of stuff is all new and all unique from one another. So I think that multiplayer, what it's done is it's given us a faster game with more world weapons and power-ups that we use across both single player and in multiplayer. So if anything, it's just made our team and our game stronger.
Can you please explain the most important technical news for GoW Ascension?
Sure. So I can go through the technical achievements that have been made, and I'll finish on the most important one. They rewrote the renderer in terms of what it did, so that it's faster and we have a better, crisper world. So the environment artists fully take advantage of that. We have a new lighting system. So they added a new way to light the worlds that allows us to pull out more color and richness that wasn't able to be done in the previous project. They can paint layers in the world, so they can paint up to 3 layers in the world. And one of the uses of that is they were able to use a light, and they were able to use another layer to revealed by the light, and they call that like the Wonder Tech. And there's a couple of areas in the game, without spoiling it, that use this Wonder Tech, and you'll see it and you'll be like, I know exactly what Marc's talking about right now. This is amazing. There's those graphical improvements, and then as well as we added animation animation blending in IK, which will make things feel a little bit more fluid. The blades track better than they ever have before, so now as guys go up in the air, the blades will track up there. Previous God of War games, if a guy went up in the air and you swung, you'd just swing flat, you would miss him. So those are all very important changes to the game in terms of graphics and some of the gameplay. And then the biggest change was by adding multiplayer, we had to make an avatar in order to make your champion, essentially. And the avatar system that we use, splitting up the different armor pieces that you wear, each one of those armor pieces having stats that make them physically more powerful or magically more resistant, that's a massive endeavor, as well as changing a weapon out. And one change of a weapon out gives you a different animation that you use, different attacks for hammers versus swords, different attacks between if I have one sword has this kind of specials and this sword has this kind of specials. That system, in order to get that to work and then have it work across the network with 8 other players, unbelievable technical challenge. I mean, just magnitudes, just gigantic.
To what extent was the fan community involved in the God of War Ascension?
So we talked to our fans when we were making the open player or the open beta, and they gave us feedback. They told us the things that they liked. They told us the things they didn't like. And then even when they, were playing and they weren't doing anything, we were looking at data based on their scores that they had, some of the feats that they achieved in the matches, how long the matches went, and we're able to use all of that information over a couple of months period of time to make the multiplayer even better for release when we release in a couple of days now.
Are there any plans to make a version for PS Vita or PS4?
We concentrate pretty much solely on the PS3. So, and the reason why we do that is that we have this ambitious project with single player and multiplayer. We're building prisons entirely on Titans now. We're building entire levels on Titans now. We have a whole new set of features and stuff like that. So we've done everything on the PS3 and we've kept our focus there, because if we diluted our focus and tried to do anything on the Vita, which is an amazing machine, I've been using it a lot on my trip, or something in the future that we didn't know about, which is the PS3, we wouldn't have the game that we have right now. So we keep our focus on PS3. It's still an amazing machine. Still a lot of users out there. Still a lot of guys that really want great games for the PS3. So we're definitely going to deliver with God of War.
What was the best moment for you in the development of God of War Ascension?
There was one. There's a lot of great moments in development for me, but there was one particular moment that I look at where we had been working really tirelessly on the game, and we had one walkabout. We have these milestones, mini milestones, and during the mini milestones, people get a microphone, they go up in front of the studio and they talk to everybody, and like Todd and Whitney will go up and get a status of the studio, and then everybody will walk around and play different aspects of the game. And I don't remember exactly when it was, but we had people come into the area where the multiplayer guys were setting up their games, and a couple of the multiplayer guys were like out of town. Unfortunately, they missed it, but people came over to play during this walkabout, and they kept playing, and they kept playing, and they kept playing, and then it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and there were still people there playing and drinking beers and having fun, and that was a great moment, because it was like, before that, it was is this going to be fun? Is this going to be good? Or people are going to be getting into it? And after that, it was no longer a question. It was, no, this is really, really great. It was like we flipped a switch, and all of a sudden that switch, it was fun.
You have a good time.
Great
you have
time.
beer, you have a game, you have multiplayer modus, and you have a good time.
Right. And I highly suggest that for anybody playing our game. Involve beer, lots of your friends, and you will always have a good time.
Do you have a final statement to the German PS3 community?
Well, I can't wait for them to play our game. I think they're going to love it, and thank you for coming out and seeing us, and thank you for being supporters of God of War. We really need you as fans as much as anything.